Runner going, fly ball, deep left field. That ball way out of here. A massive home run for Dakota Jordan.
College baseball.
First of many
What's
Bulldog home runs for the freshman.
Dakota Johnson, holy shit. According to the internet, it's 474 feet. The Mississippi State broadcast, probably produced by the SEC Network, was not sophisticated enough to track the baseball with the camera. It was obliterated. College baseball is the shit. Mississippi is the college baseball state. Mississippi State, our rival, Ole Miss, the returning, defending national champions. Those are the last two national champs, actually, Ole Miss and Mississippi State. Ole Miss and Mississippi State are to baseball as Alabama and Auburn are to football without all the national championships. Baseball is harder to win. Okay, yeah, so college baseball is happening. I'm paying attention, of course, to my Ole Miss Rebs, and we'll pay attention to that and whatever as it goes along. Last year was one of the most enjoyable college baseball seasons I can never remember. Ole Miss went on a run to win the tournament, but if you remember, the story was Tennessee is so good, and then Notre Dame, of all people, beat them. And the SEC, for the first time in my life, cheered for Notre Dame at anything, which is, I can't believe the SEC would hate one of their own that much, but that's how annoying Tennessee was. Remember, that guy got mad at the whole thing. Okay, Controversial Wednesday. This is interesting to see. Daily Sports Podcast, news, narratives, takes, gambling. For those of you that don't have all day to scroll on Twitter and Reddit about what's going on in the sports world, I do it for you. Tell your friends. Get mad at me in the YouTube comments. My takes are garbage, but it's just me telling you what people are talking about without having to listen to an hour-and-a-half podcast or be obsessed with Twitter or whatever. Every Wednesday, I do Controversial Wednesday, where we find sports controversies. It started about a year and a half ago, where we look at controversial stories. And so every Wednesday, usually there's nothing going on Wednesdays, especially during football season. Every Wednesday, I look for stuff. Yesterday, I was having both internet problems and computer processing problems, and I have since deleted a bunch of apps and bullshit on my computer. And AT&T is functional at the moment, so we are going to do Controversial Wednesday today. I have never missed a show where I wasn't traveling, sick, or the holidays. I think we're like 500 episodes or something, so I do it every week. So yesterday I was pulling my hair out, and I very close to breaking things, but I did not. Alas, here we are. Let's do some Controversial Wednesday and some news. The first bit of news that we will start with is that the Broncos are interviewing Matt Patricia, the former Detroit Lions head coach, former New England Patriots executive offensive assistant, which meant offensive coordinator. He didn't get the offensive coordinator title because if he did, then the Lions wouldn't have had to pay him the voided contract money, so they did. So Belichick was it's like essentially fraud. Now the Broncos want to talk to him about defensive coordinator. Patricia is one of the most interesting coaches in the NFL. Players that play for him love him until he went to Detroit when they hated him because he was too Belichickian, but a lot of his players have historically loved him. He is a defensive genius. It's a weird thing. So that's happening. The second thing that happened yesterday is after the Packers were so sure, everybody's so sure that Rodgers would not return to the Packers, then yesterday a report came out that he would. I'm telling you, right now, I don't care. I mean, he does or he doesn't, I don't know. He's worth so much money. If he doesn't want to get traded, then he could just retire, but he doesn't have a no-trade clause. So they could trade him wherever they want. He is so expensive and so good that it's really dumb for a team to trade for him with presumably one or two first-round picks. So players that the first-round picks are important because not only could they project to be better players, they could project to be better players immediately, right away. And that's important because you can help your team. It's like free agency. The other reason is that they are under 5 years of contract control. So you kind of hinder your own team a little bit by doing that. Secondly, you have to pay him all this money. And third, he's old. What if he retires or gets hurt? So I think that the Packers got kind of a tepid price. Last year was the year to do this. And so now they're like, we'll bring him back. I don't know. It's going to be a mess, and we will pay attention to it, kind of. There's no reason to go crazy about it. It is slander season in the NFL. Todd McShay said that Jalen Carter had some off-the-field concerns. Jalen Carter is widely considered the best defensive tackle in the draft. It turned out that Jalen Carter, who had some NIL money and probably some non-NIL money from back in the day, he paid for his teammates' meals because his teammate and his roommate, I think is his roommate, who didn't have a scholarship, was a walk-on, didn't have any food money. So he paid for us. Is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? The off-the-field vibe I get from him is not that he's a bad guy. It's that he has occasionally been lazy and they have to hound him a little bit. But who knows? Back-to-back national championships, I think he's probably a pretty hard worker. What do I know? C.J. Stroud, I think the best quarterback prospect in the draft, roast me if you want. He doesn't have social media, so fans would roast him How do they tweet at someone if they hate him? Well, here's what they do. They send him Venmos. They found his Venmo. We're all humans. People tell you they don't care. They're blocking it out. For me and my teammates being at Ohio State, if you have social media or type of technology, Ohio State fans have it. I was getting DMs. I don't have social media during the season. I was getting DMs on Venmo, the money app. Bro, that's gross. College football fans care a lot. I think there's some indoctrination about going to school there, and then, I don't know, for whatever reason, that bleeds into other just like casual fans. Also, you can just get drunker on a Saturday, which is when college football is played. Okay. Is there anything else? Rodgers dumb saga, home run. Okay, let's get to Controversial Wednesday. Oh, wait, whoa, real quick. Patrick Kane is trending this morning. And has he been traded? It's going to be an enormous trade. No, it does not look like he has been traded. He keeps scoring. Patrick Kane does his second of the night and has his third point of the period. So what happened was he thought he was going to get traded to the Rangers, and then he was like, he didn't get traded to the Rangers due to some good general managing by the St. Louis Blues, who blocked the trade and traded their own guy to rebuild. And people think that he was pouting and playing poorly, and now he's just pissed off and wants to get traded, and he's averaging like 4 points a game or something in the last 4 games. Just absurd. I would like my team to trade for him, for real. Okay, Controversial Wednesday. Got a couple for you. Real bummer. The reason I was really pissed yesterday as this was happening, as I knew there was a controversy that was timely. Sometimes we go back and find old controversies for you, but we had one that was timely, and this is this Alabama basketball murder situation. So for those of you that don't remember, there was a murder. A single mother was shot and killed intentionally in, I forget what it's called in Alabama, the Strip, the Square, the Circle, like whatever, wherever all the bar scene is in Tuscaloosa. Alabama player murdered this woman, and now we're finding out that he was in jail. I think he's awaiting trial, maybe thinking about a plea deal. Got him on surveillance or whatever. A whole bunch of stuff is happening. We found out that the gun, the murder weapon, was delivered to him by a teammate. So the guy, the murderer, alleged murderer, asked for the gun from a teammate. That teammate is Brandon Miller, who is maybe the best basketball player in the country. He'll be a lottery pick in the NBA. Alabama is number 1, 2, 3. I don't know where they are this week, but they're expected to be a favorite for the national championship. The alleged murderer, whose name I'm not going to say, because why would I do that, texted Brandon Miller and asked him to bring a gun. Brandon did. He left it in a hat. He said the heat is in the hat. And he told him there's one in the head, which is not a euphemism for murder. It is a euphemism for bullets in the chamber. So he brought him a loaded gun and didn't ask questions. So this is really bad. I don't know what Alabama's gun laws are. For example, in Texas and Wyoming, I think that I read this would not be against the law in Texas and Wyoming. I think. Alabama is a red state. Lots of Second Amendment support there. I don't know what is and isn't illegal. They don't think he's in trouble right now. They don't think he's in trouble with the murder case. I have no fucking clue. It hasn't been reported. But we do know that the Alabama basketball coach, I think his name is Nick Oates, he knew about this. He knew that his best player did that. And what he said was pretty crazy. And like, holy shit. Here, I'll highlight it for you on the screen. This is what he said about it. We knew about that. Can't control everything everybody does outside of practice. Nobody knew that was going to happen. College kids are out. Brandon hasn't been in any type of trouble, nor is he in any type of trouble with this case. And here's the real line. Just in the wrong spot at the wrong time. Yep. He happened to be in the place where his friend could text him, and then he happened to be in the place where he could happen to drop off a gun. That's loaded. At night, it's like I think it's after midnight when this happened. Without asking questions, by the way. He's just like, oh, you need a loaded gun? Fucking yeah, dude, I got you. I don't pick my friends up from the airport. Actually, I do. Good guy, but... We knew about that. Can't control everything everybody does outside of practice, just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Kids are out. First of all, these college coaches, they know everything. They are literally above the law in these places. They really are. The rumors of what college coaches do in these college towns is bananas. Can't control everything. He's got a better team than the football team. We knew about that. That actually might be... He said that publicly. I wonder if he talked to a lawyer about that. Him admitting that he knew that is interesting to me. Just in the wrong place at the wrong time, bro. You're in the wrong place at the wrong time if you get shit on by a bird. I heard that take somewhere else. Forget who. Pardon my take. Pardon the interruption. Pardon my flatulence. I don't know. I can't. I mean, it's crazy. So we'll see what the legal people on TikTok and Twitter have to say about this. I don't know. If everybody knows about it and he hasn't been arrested, the problem is that gun crimes and murder are federal offenses. So Tuscaloosa police can't protect these people. And this fucking coach said we knew about that. I have no idea the legal implications of that, but I bet it's not zero. I don't know. It's a disaster. This was a single woman who was murdered out of hatred for not accepting the advances of a college kid. So, like, intentionally murdered. Fucking crazy. One more controversy for you. This did not make the rounds on popular media yesterday, which kind of blows my mind. Maybe I was just in the wrong Twitter algorithm. Thanks a lot, Elon, you douche canoe. So the Wall Street Journal is reporting on this because they care about this kind of thing. So since Russia invaded Ukraine, remember the beginning of World War III, probably, everybody, chess, hockey, everybody's like, there will be no Russian flags at these events. You people are completely annexed. And Russian athletes are essentially have to beg for their lives to participate. They can't wear stuff. In some instances, I've seen in certain sports, they can't, like, say their names. They just have athlete numbers. Like, you are not going to be recognized for this. It's not going to be a whatever of glory for you. So this is the headline from the Wall Street Journal article. Russian and Belarusian athletes should continue to be shut out of international sports events, including the Olympics, until there is a way to show they are competing independent of their governments, 34 powerful nations said in a statement signed by the UK, the US, France, and France, the host of the 2024 Olympics. So the next Summer Olympics will be in France, and they said, we don't want Russians here unless we are sure that they are not aligned with the Russian government, which is tough for the athletes because oftentimes they're like their families are held at gunpoint, like they can't speak out. There are some very famous examples of hockey players here in the U.S. like who don't really have, I mean, they have like mothers and fathers and things, but they don't have like kids and wives, and they've been talking shit and they can't like go home. So Russia, and it's not just Russia, it's also Belarus, which is Russia, but no disrespect. So this has been something that's been brewing online, and we saw this in Germany, 1936. 1940, like this is not new. So the international aspect of this is getting more intense. This, of course, comes as it appears Putin and Xi Jinping, I say that right? Is that the quote-unquote president or supreme god of China? They met with each other. There seems to be, like, Iran is getting, like, it's happening now. Like, it's really starting to happen, and now this is just another cog in the wheel. And I think when sports get too real, the mainstream media does not want to deal with it, and I respect that. It's tough, man. It's tough. But it's going to happen. Some other headlines for Controversial Thursday, making it up to you guys. This just dropped. A court is allowing the PGA to directly sue the backers of Live Golf. I think the lawsuit initially brought by players against golf's biggest touring body is now pitting the PGA Tour directly against the wealth of Saudi Arabia. So I don't know what they're suing for. This just dropped recently. A ruling issued late Tuesday will allow the tour to add Saudi Arabia's public investment fund to the defense of a lawsuit. The Saudi fund can just write a check. They don't care. The question is whether or not the precedent will be sent for Live to be shuttered. Remember, the Live Tour is just losing money, but the Saudis have essentially uncalculated wealth because they don't have to pay taxes or be transparent, so they don't give a shit. This is sports washing. They sports washed in the Premier League. I'm sure they're going to sports wash. I mean, I'd be surprised if they don't own an NFL franchise soon enough. So they declined to comment. The legal action last summer. Phil Mickelson and 10 other golfers who bolted for the Live Tour, they're suing, arguing that it behaved as a monopolist in barring from the tour event. So these are just going back and forth to Live in the PGA. I'll look more into this for a later Controversial Wednesday as the court case advances. One more cool thing. Guess what? Travis Pastrana, remember him? Travis Pastrana, the old motorcycle jumper guy from our youth with Tony Hawk and all those guys. He's a legend. I think he's going to be participating in Daytona. That's right. On Wednesday night, he officially qualified for the Great American Race. This is last week. He'll line up for Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin's 2311. Oh, I get it, because Denny Hamlin. 2311 racing team in the number 67 car. Travis Pastrana in the Daytona 500. We are not talking enough about this. I love this. What a fucking legend. Oh, look, he's sponsored by Black Rifle Coffee Company. I like that. Pretty good coffee. Not bad. Back and better than ever tomorrow.